What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I'll be the host of today's show, Mitchell Renz. 8 feet away from me is Tom Downey. We are going to dive into the latest NFL news and rumors. We're going to talk about Dak Prescott, but we're also going to start the show off here with Jamal Adams. And this was kind of fun, right? So a fan posted a video on Twitter, Tom. I'm sure you've seen it.
I have.
He asked Adams, hey, are you going to play in Dallas? He simply replied, trying, bro. You're a Cowboys fan. We live here in Dallas. This is obviously a major story, and yes, for those of you watching live, we will get into this a little bit more in depth.
Also, not a surprise, right? Like Adams said this at the trade deadline. He was like, look, I'm from Dallas. I'd love to go back and play for the Cowboys, even though I'm not a Cowboys fan. So that's not actually anything new, but the whole part that, you know, they're now including he wants a trade, he wants to be traded, he's requested one beyond just pay me or trade me. Now it's more just to the trade me side. It's kind of a big deal. There's really no way around it at that point. He wants to play for the Cowboys, but there are other teams he is open to playing for. At some point, Adams is, I believe, fully aware he can at least use the Cowboys as leverage.
Oh, for sure.
Just like Earl Thomas. Would he love to play for the Cowboys if the money's equal? Of course. But you know what? If a different team comes through and is willing to trade for him and offers him more money, he's a businessman. He's going to take more money.
See, you say that, but if I was Jamal Adams, honestly, I would say, you know, would I rather get paid, like, let's say, like 17 by the Cowboys or 19 by a team like the Houston Texans? For me personally, I'd probably end up going to the Cowboys because I think you can make more money off of endorsements. So what you see on screen right now are some potential fits. So Adam Schefter listed 7 teams. Adams kind of added the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's not too surprising. A lot of the teams that you see on screen are teams that he either A, grew up liking, the Dallas Cowboys, or teams that will be able to compete and be a solid team. Because if you're Adams, not only do you want to get paid, you want to go to the playoffs and you want to ultimately compete for a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So where will Jamal Adams end up playing in 2020? Obviously, the star from the New York Jets, not very happy. He's been rumored to be in some trades for almost an entire year now. So where will Adams play in 2020? Kevin Otto says the Dallas Cowboys. I'm seeing the Seattle Seahawks, America's team. Interesting, going to throw in the Jets. Another Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then another person voting for the Dallas Cowboys. If you're a big Cowboys fan and you're looking for maybe a CeeDee Lamb jersey or any kind of jersey, if you go to chatsports.com/jersey deal, you can actually find jerseys for under $80. And right now, some jerseys are even as low as $54.99. Yes, $54.99, but this is a limited time. Jerseys up to 30%, and they are high-quality jerseys. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Rams, these Nike jerseys, they are very high quality. So chatsports.com/jersey deal. It'll be in the comments, and it'll be in the description, so you guys can go below. See the Dak Prescott jersey? Let's talk about it, Tom. He signed.
Yeah, he's officially signed his franchise tag tender. People have been trying to be like, what does this mean? And frankly, not very much in the end. It doesn't change the chances of a long-term deal or where things are at on that front. I've seen some takes saying, wow, this means Dak is locked in. So we're clear, because we know franchise tags are very confusing and tricky.
Yep.
It means he's going to get paid this year, and it means that the deadline for a Dak extension remains July 15th,
Correct.
And we'll see which side caves. Probably going to come in around $35-ish million, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, because the Cowboys messed up and let all but Aaron Rodgers on that list sign when Dak was eligible for an extension, including Carson Wentz not pictured.
Yep.
And Ryan Tannehill got like $30 or almost $30 million. So
Correct.
there have been some issues along the way. They're fairly close at the moment, and I think we still got another 5 or 10 days before they really resume contract talks.
I'll be honest. I hope this Dak thing goes all the way up until like July 14th.
Oh, it will, because that's what the Cowboys always do. They did it with DeMarcus Lawrence. They did it with Dez Bryant. They did it with Zeke Elliott. Even Zach Martin, way back when, they waited up until the eve of training camp to get that deal done. So the hard and fast deadline is July 15th. Check in on like the 10th, and we'll see where we're at.
Sounds good. So I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So what I want you guys to do that are watching this on YouTube, you're going to get hit with a YouTube ad break. I want you to scroll on down and let Tom and I both know, should the Dallas Cowboys extend Dak Prescott? Type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. Let's talk now about Joe Thuney and the latest around him. So the Patriots and Thuney are not any closer to an extension, or basically same exact where they were in March.
I'll let you guys in on a secret. Any player that's on the franchise tag right now, obviously Dak gets made a big deal because it's quarterback, it's the Cowboys. any player on the franchise tag right now really isn't any closer to a deal than what they were around the combine. There's just no reason for really either side to adjust from where they're at. They have until July 15th. Now, I'm not sure Joe's going to budge very much because almost $15 million is a lot for a guard.
He's also got a lot of
leverage. He might just be like, I'll just take the franchise tag. That's why he signed it so quickly.
Well, that's what I mean. Right now, if he makes 14.78, he is the second highest paid player at the guard position. And I did see an interesting note here from ESPN's Mike Reese. He said that there's an 80% likelihood that Thuney plays underneath the franchise tag.
Makes sense.
So, hey, Thuney, we're giving you the latest around him.
Absolutely. So I will see what happens on July 15th, but I would not be surprised if Downey ends up, having to just play under that franchise tag. All right, Vikings fans, you guys have done it. You are the latest team to get 100 subs as part of our I shouldn't say brand new, but our new Chat Sports Channel challenge. The Browns, the Cardinals, the Dolphins. That video, by the way, went out earlier today. Vikings fans, you are the next one. So if you guys want to get your questions featured on the show, use hashtag Vikings in the comments. We're going to post this on that new Vikings channel, chatsports.com/VikingsTV. We'll get that in the comments as well. So head over there and use hashtag Vikings if you want your questions on our show for our special Vikings-only mailbag.
Let's get back into, some extension talks here. We went from Joe Thuney. Now we're going to go to A.J. Green because the Bengals have been discussing an extension with their star receiver. And as much as I love A.J. Green, this one's interesting to me.
It's tricky. $18 million is a lot of money for A.J. Green right now. And I'm very curious to see what ends up happening here with Green and with the Bengals and just if they can get a deal done. At some level, what I think makes the most sense is maybe you just make A.J. Green your Larry Fitzgerald. And you hope that the injuries kind of go away and he just ends up being one of the all-time greats for your franchise.
Sure, that's a great idea. I think a lot of teams would be like, you know what, we'd love to make almost any receiver their Larry Fitzgerald. The only issue is it's like Fitzgerald his entire career has been able to show durability. He's been able to show that he's able to get on the field and play. And for Green, as much as I do want to see his connection and how he's going to be able to help a young quarterback in Joe Burrow.
Which he could use.
Absolutely. I just can't trust A.J. Green at this point in his career. And me personally, as much as I think he is one of the best Bengals actually to ever play in that organization, I don't know if I can commit the money to him.
What I don't think the Bengals can afford to do, ignoring, of course, like the cap implications, I mean, from a franchise perspective, you can't Andrew Whitworth him, where you lowballed the heck out of him, and then he goes to the Rams, and he's still playing great. Maybe don't make that same mistake twice.
Well, I guess if they're going to pay him a lot of money, they might think that he's still a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. But I want to know from everyone who's watching right now. So I see David Renteria's in there. William McLean's watching us live. Jason Vidic. I want you to scroll on down and let us know. Is A.J. Green a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL? Yay or nay? What says you, Tom?
I'm going to go with nay because the injuries are a significant factor in that, and I do, of course, worry about the long term. But I think A.J. Green means more to the Bengals organization than he would mean to any other NFL team out there.
I guess we're both horses because we're both saying nay. All right, let's go to another wide receiver here now. Martavis Bryant. Is he returning to the NFL? There's a report out that he's applied for reinstatement. My issue with Martavis Bryant is he hasn't played since, end of December of 2018, and he's been suspended how many times? And sure, he's been a talented player, but, we have not seen, I think, a legit Martavis Bryant in a very, very long time. And the fact that he's also never played a full 16-game season, whether it's due to suspensions, whether it's due to injuries, I'm not 100% sure if that's the real player that I want to commit to. Now, sure, I remember he was getting some comparisons from a Randy Moss in terms of build, speed, height. He had him when he first came out, right?
Yeah.
He had that 2014 year with the Steelers. Everyone was freaking out. But for me...
Remember when the Raiders traded a third-round pick and got nothing out of him?
All right, we're done. No. But it's the truth, though. I tweeted out before we came on the show, should the Raiders go out and look for him? And there are still a lot of fans that still want to see that Martavis Bryant, right? He's still not 30 years old. But I think what it comes down to...
I don't think you're going to get the Martavis Bryant everyone wants.
Okay.
As I've said before, there is never, ever in the history of the NFL been anything wrong with a cheap one-year deal for no guaranteed money. But if you're banking on Martavis Bryant being that hyped Martavis Bryant, I think there's a very good chance you end up being disappointed.
I also think there's this side of it, right? If you're trying to get a receiver that's being reinstated, do you take a Martavis Bryant or do you take another receiver that's basically trying to do the same thing in Josh Gordon?
I'm thinking Josh Gordon because, A, his highs were better. That 1 year.
I don't think you can say that about Josh.
I can't say about him. The 1 year that Gordon was on the field for most of the season, he was the best receiver in the NFL. And then beyond that, he's also played more recently. So for me, I'm going Josh Gordon every single time.
Yeah, I'm going to go Josh Gordon as well, though I do see America's team is typing MB. I see Gray Natalie, looks like a new viewer, typing JG. Adam Lynn, Winston Shan. I got, who else? Gunnar Finici, Aiden Hartman, Goat James. Goat James is typing MB. Continue to get some votes in here. Alicia Hathaway typing JG. Richard Lee just says Jag. I think he means Josh Gordon. So I want you to let us know in the comments section who's the better wide receiver, type JG for Josh Gordon or MB for Martavis Bryant. All right, so Tom, we did get some COVID-19 protocols. So the league's basically been tasked, every team in the league, to develop a infectious disease emergency response. You're going to see it hyphenated, or not hyphenated, abbreviated as IDER. It's basically a plan for containing the spread of COVID. And what they had to do is put each person in the organization, whether it was a player, whether it was a coach, whether it was some sort of personnel, in a certain tier. And they basically broke that down into 3 tiers. So here are the 3 tiers that they did. Tier 1, players, coaches, trainers, basically anybody that is in direct contact with players.
Or, of course, players themselves.
Yes, or, of course, players themselves. Tier 2 is, GMs, personnel, you got operational staff, assistant coaches. Tier 3 is like certain operational personnel and in-house media members. Also, people who don't come in contact with Tier 1.
And this is why there's been that debate amongst NFL teams, because assistant coaches can go in Tier 1 or Tier 2. So do you put your OC and DC are probably in Tier 1. The coaches who lead the meeting rooms probably have to be in Tier 1 too. What do you do with the assistant to the offensive line coach? Is he in Tier 1? Do you put him in Tier 2? Thank you both for getting that joke here.
Assistant to the regional manager.
I think that's the tricky part. Like, in theory, you would want your GM to be in Tier 1,
yeah,
but they don't need day-to-day contact with the players, so it's just kind of tricky as to where you put them. The Tier 2 includes the rest of the essential workers, so Tier 3, maybe you don't want to be put in Tier 3 if you're an employee of an NFL team, because in a way it's kind of like you don't matter as much.
That's very fair. So how concerned are you about COVID-19 from a scale 1 to 10? 1 being you're not worried at all, 10 being you're, just absolutely freaking out. If you are typing your 10, we are trying to at least give you guys a deal, trying to stay safe. We're always telling you to wash your hands. We're always telling you, that Tom and I are 8 feet apart. You can also use that deal you see below, chatsports.com/NFL face mask. They ship in 2 days, or NFL mask, my mistake. They ship in 2 days, and it's only $14.99. So if you got to wear them to the grocery store, if you got to wear them to football games, just do it. So let us know in the comments how concerned you are from scale of 1 to 10. Will Dissly get traded?
I see what you did there. You're not funny.
I think I'm kind of funny. So Bleacher Report, they basically put out an article of all 32 teams and which player should be traded from each team. Bleacher Report said that the Seattle Seahawks should move on from Will Dissly, and I understand the move. However,
I don't
at the same time.
I think it's not a great idea.
I think they look at names like who they brought in, and I'm like, as much as I understand the name of Greg Olsen, I might actually take Will Dissly at this point in his career over some of those other tight ends that they have on the roster.
I'm inclined to agree. The issue for Dissly is the medical, right?
Correct. 100%.
Like, when he's been out there, I think he's actually been a very pleasant surprise based on where he was graded and rated among the national scouts when the Seahawks took him out of Washington. If he's healthy, I think he's proven he's a starting caliber tight end. But as you bring up, Mitch, they have added a bunch of new players, although I will make note, 4th-round rookie Colby Parkinson is hurt right now.
I mean, sure, you got Greg Olsen, who they gave, 1 year, $7 million. I definitely think they overpaid for him. I like Will Dissly a lot, and then you have apparently Victoria's Secret's model, Luke Wilson, as your tight end 3. So, I mean, if you're the Seahawks team, yes, if you can have a fully healthy Dissly, heck, I liked him a lot. He had 4 touchdowns last year. He's been only played 10 games. I get that the Seahawks might not feel that they need tight ends, but at the same time, I think Dissly, I would take Dissly over Greg Olsen. Call me crazy.
He's cheap still. I think they were on a decent path of finding a tight end to move. I think they picked the wrong one. I would rather move Jacob Hollister, because if you trade or even just outright release him with the way that he was tendered, you save almost $3.3 million. And I think maybe Hollister and Dissly are equal. That's the pretend that they are. You're going to go with the cheaper guy under contract longer. So of those tight ends, I would actually much rather move Hollister.
Yep, I was never actually a fan of Hollister. I was more of an American Eagle guy when I was in high school.
Today.
Yep, that's what you're going to get. So what should Seattle do with Will Dissly? If you think they should end up trading them or trading him, I want you to go down in the comments, type T for trade. If you think that they should keep him, type K for keep. And I think a lot of times when Tom and I go back and watch a lot of these videos, I like to see the overachiever. So be the overachiever. And if you're typing T for trade, let us know what they can get in return. If you're typing K for keep, let's be bold here. I want you to tell me how many catches, yards he's going to have this upcoming season. If you're a Seahawks fan and you need a mask, go to chatsports.com/NFL mask. Now, I'll be honest with you. At times when I go to the grocery store, I don't want to have to wear them, or when I go out in public, I don't want to have to do it. But if this is what I got to do my part in society, guess what? I'm going to do it. For only $14.99, you can get your favorite team and you can get a mask. So I'm kind of sick and tired of wearing like the normal nurse ones. I do have, me personally, a Raiders one, which I like a lot. They fit great around your ears. There's nothing more annoying to me than that one mask that's way too small, and it makes me look like Dumbo. With these, that's not going to happen. You can go to chatsports.com/NFL face mask. It'll be in the description. It'll be in the comments below us. NFL mask. Chatsports.com/NFL mask. Only $14.99. Here's the last story today on NFL Daily. It's around Dallas Goedert and the suspect that basically sucker punched him. He's been arrested. This happened Friday night at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And Kyle Hadala of Sarasota, Florida, yep, he's been caught.
Don't bury the lead there, Mitch. Florida man has struck again as he knocked out Goedert. I do just want to make a simple note here. I'm sure many of you have seen the video. It was unprovoked. I do find it funny that this was initially pushed out as a Goedert was out with family. It was 1 a.m. Saturday night. So
I mean, there's not much to do.
A little bit of a deceptive story, but obviously Goedert didn't do anything wrong. The guy should totally be arrested and charged with assault. So kind of a no-brainer decision there for police officers.
Also a no-brainer is if you subscribe to our channel. 100% free, daily videos. You'll see the link below. You can also click that big red button that says subscribe, so that way you never miss any of our shows.